What a draw. I mean, what a draw. My very first reaction after watching the AFCON 2025 draw was that there's no small team. Like, no team is small. Absolutely no team is small in Africa here. You know, initially I thought this group A, was my group of death. Because, I mean, look at it. Morocco, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. It looked tough until I watched the entire draw and I realized my group of death is. I'll tell you that later in this video. So just stay tuned and watch it.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Alright, so welcome back. As I mentioned earlier on, there is absolutely no small team in Africa here because I'm looking through all the groups and it looks like every group is competitive. I look through Group A, Morocco, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. Comoros can cause an upset to Mali. Mali can cause an upset to that is Morocco. Zambia can cause an upset to Mali. Or Zambia can even cause an upset to Comoros. So, of all the 4 teams in this group, there is not even a single team that you say they are pushovers. You just brush them over. Anybody in this group can actually make it, even though Morocco are favorites because they are the host nation and then they've been playing so well in recent times. There can still be an upset. I mean, in the last AFCON, Morocco were in group with, that is Zambia. They will beat Zambia comfortably. But then this Zambia team now looks a bit better, a bit rejuvenated. They won their group in the World Cup. In the AFCON qualifiers. They finished top of their group and they'll be probably looking for a revenge back on Morocco. This time on Morocco's home soil. And then there is Mali, then there is Comoros, who won some games against Tunisia. They beat Tunisia, they beat Gambia, they even beat Ghana. So these are giant killers and they know how to do it. And this time they'll be playing against Morocco. Morocco played against Comoros in the 2022 AFCON, yes, and Morocco won that game. So maybe they also want a revenge back on Morocco. Then Group B, it's a similar story. South Africa and Zimbabwe, it's a regional derby, a very intense derby when the two sides face off. The last time I think they played in competitive games was in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers when South Africa they won I think the second leg and Zimbabwe won the first one. Then even there is Egypt and Angola. Angola, they've been playing so well, and Egypt, they know how to play the AFCON. I mean, what is AFCON without Egypt? They know how to play the AFCON. So even this group, you can't predict because Zimbabwe look like maybe they can be the whipping boys, but this same Zimbabwe team, they almost even beat Cameroon, and they were excellent in the AFCON qualifier. So you can't entirely rule them out. They can actually do something. Then you go to Group C, Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda and Tanzania. Uganda and Tanzania is a regional derby, another regional derby, so you can't really tell about it. Then there is Nigeria and Tunisia. Tunisia have not really been performing. They have actually not been performing these past few games. They lost to Gambia, they lost to Comoros, and now they'll be playing Nigeria in the group stages. And in the last AFCON, they were actually eliminated in the group stage. So they were in group with South Africa, Namibia, and Mali. And 3 of the teams in this group qualified. South Africa, Mali, and Namibia, they all qualified. And Tunisia was the only team who eliminated. This time they are in group with another group which looks to be a bit more easier because if you compare Tanzania and Uganda, even though they are still a rising force these days, but if you compare them to, let's say, Mali and then Namibia, maybe the South Africa and Namibia pair is a bit higher up. So maybe they want to sort of perform better in this AFCON. Then you go to Group D. There is Senegal, DRC, there is Benin, and then Botswana. Maybe Senegal are the outright favorites in this group, but DRC have been playing so well. They've been playing so well in the AFCON qualifiers. They went unbeaten until they qualified to the AFCON. That's when they lost 2 more games. So they are not a team who sort of flattered to deceive. They can go all out and fetching the point. Then there is Benin. Benin are making a return to the AFCON since 2019, and in 2019 they were actually eliminated by Senegal. They went out of the AFCON at the hands of Senegal. So this is the time for a revenge. This is the time to pay back. Then there's Botswana, who are also making an appearance after a very long time without playing at the AFCON. So they wouldn't want it to be just a fluke. They want to make a statement. And in this group too, maybe Botswana is the only team looking like they might not make it. But for Senegal, DR Congo and Benin, any of these three can actually make it. And we have Group E: Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and then Sudan. Sudan, I don't remember the last time Sudan came to the AFCON and then they made a statement. Will they follow tune? Can they make a statement this year, or it will be the Sudan we've been seeing of previous years at previous AFCON competitions? This time around, they're in group with Equatorial Guinea, who were in the round 16 of the last AFCON, but they also produced the top scorer of that AFCON. It was Emilio Nsui, but this time they'll be without him because he's ineligible to play for the country. So they'll be without the unofficial top scorer of the last AFCON, that's Emilio Nsui. Can they really make that same statement? Because I know they still have other quality players in the team, but can they really make that same statement? Or will see Algeria finally bounce back to reclaim their throne as one of the big boys in African football? Because in 2022 AFCON, Algeria went out in the group stage. In 2024 AFCON, Algeria went out in the group stage again. If a big team like Algeria goes out in the group stage for 3 successive AFCONs, I think this should be more than a statement. It should mean a major crisis. It should mean a whole generational crisis for Algeria. So this is the point where they will not want to miss it out. They will not want to miss it because they want to finally not only qualify from this group but then finish top of the group. And the last AFCON, Algeria and Burkina Faso were in the same group. So it looks like they are reliving their rivalry at this point again also. Then finally Group E, which is Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon, and then Mozambique. Mozambique at the last AFCON, they made a statement. They were not able to move from the group stage, but then they made a statement. This time around, they are coming again with a better team who have much more experience, because in the last AFCON, their last time they had played at the Cup of Nations, I think was in 2008. Yeah, if my memory serves me right, I think it was 2008. So it was a very long time ago. I think about 12 years. About 12 years or so. So it was a very long time ago. They had not played at the Nations Cup. So when they came, they were coming to fill the competition, make an appearance. But this time, this team has already felt it. They know how the AFCON feels like. Players like Jenny Katamo, they know how the AFCON feels like. So this is finally the time to make a statement for them. Then Gabon, they missed out on the last AFCON. But then in 2022, they went out till they reached, I think the round 16 stage. Was it round 16 or quarterfinal? They played quite well in that AFCON. So coming back again, it is to make a statement. Then there is Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire, two countries who know how to play the AFCON very well. Cameroon 5-time champions, Cote d'Ivoire 3-time champions, and defending champions. Can they finally make it? And to me, I think this group, Group F, is my group of death. This is surely the toughest group in all of the groups, because Mozambique, they don't play. They didn't come to play. Cameroon, they didn't come to play. Cote d'Ivoire, they didn't come to play. Gabon, they didn't come to play. And this is tough. So for this AFCON, I think there is no whipping boy. Nobody is a whipping boy. Everybody is tough. Everybody is here to compete. You might see one of the strongest and toughest competitions in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. But tell me in the comments, which of the groups is your group of death?